Welcome back to the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike, and today I'm going to talk to you about the Gigapower Guttur. It's the HQ-03R, and it's their take on a G1-esque with a little bit of stylization version of Snarl. This is a good-looking bot. I did get this at Shows. I'll share a link down below. But this thing is special to me because I always thought this was the weakest design of all the Dinobots, so I never got a masterpiece version. So all these years I do not have a masterpiece version of this character, and so it's my first one, so I'm really excited about it. We're going to talk about this figure coming up. Taking a quick look at the box, it looks like pretty much all their other boxes. Quite a bit of stuff going on it right there. G1 style. Look at that. It's G1 style. There's the top, and sides are like a red artwork of it. That's kind of cool right there. And red of the Dino mode and all the other modes and all the accessories right there. Alright, so let's take a quick look at this guy here. I did go with the chrome version. I do love the shiny metallic reflective chrome that's on this. It just vac metallized. It looks good. It's a lost art, right? But he looks great. He looks fantastic as a Dinobot in the Dino mode. I mean, I think it's either 60-40 on who displays theirs in Dino mode and who displays theirs in bot mode. I'm still in bot mode. I do them all in bot mode. But I do appreciate the Dino mode and how wonderful it looks. Just so much detail on this. And you see the detail on the side there, and there's all the different color paints on the inside. You look like got some wires going through there. This chrome on the red is chromed, and it's a very shiny metallic paint, or it's vac metallized, one of the two. It looks very nice, and there's black paint on top of that. Kind of carries through all the way through the body there. So that's just paint, not vac metallized then. And then just a ton of paint on this guy everywhere. He just looks fantastic all over. But again, I think the big thing on this is the shiny chrome, and that's just, some people like the metallic look because it looks a little bit more tune accurate, but I really think this kind of going with the toy looks really good. So let's look at articulation real quick. You do get his head back and forth a bit. You get on this, you can move his front leg a bit. You have some movement, and it's really tight ratchet for right here on the knee. Anyway, he holds himself up really well, and you kind of have a lot of articulation in the foot, and you have a toe articulation. So a lot going on that really they didn't have to go as far with that. You can't really move these out very much side to side like this, but it does have a bit of side to side. And on the back, you do have more side to side with a really strong ratchet. Of course, this is also doubles as a shoulder, and then you do have some side to side action with that, and then you do have a little bit of knee, and you have some toe and some foot articulation going on right there. You also have a tail articulation to a point, so that does look good. Just like in Dino mode, he has quite a bit of articulation, and so I've never messed with the Fans Toys version of this, so I don't know, in comparison how well articulated the Fans Toys is versus this. I just know how this one is, and I'm impressed and pleased. So we're starting to get into some of the accessories here. We do have these pieces right here that are going to go on to give you kind of the toy look, the toy accurate look here. And let's do this without doing any chrome scratching. But we got to slide this over his neck, and this actually is a little more challenging than it looks, getting this over. And then slide this one on the top, and so there is his head with the covers on it, and I like that they include those and give you that option, and let's show you exactly why. There he is next to the G1 toy, and it's an homage for sure. And the G1 toy, I always thought the G1 toy was kind of boring, so that's kind of where I am with it. And there it is, and they kind of look similar, and this definitely kills the chrome. Like the gold is so much more golden and more vibrant than a G1. But then again, mine is really, really old, and maybe has it faded? Has my color of mine faded over the decades? Who knows? Here he is next to the Gigapower Grassor, and it's the same chrome vac metallized kind of chrome look to it. And let's see him without the headpiece on here, and we can take those off. And then you can see kind of the same vac metallized color of gold, and it's vibrant. Now, one thing on this guy here, he didn't have this vac metallized, so I thought that was kind of strange, but maybe it's just so it doesn't chip off and rub because of the way it transforms and all that stuff. But still, these guys look good, and the whole set's going to look good in Dino mode if that's the way you go. Here he is next to MP44 and Hot Rod, and he is, of course, a big bot and a Dino. See, I think a dinosaur is huge, and these guys are big, and that's the scale I like. So curious, would you guys be in on a G2 version, G2 recolors of this figure? So I wonder if Gigapower would do that. As for the rest of his accessories, he does come with this extra head, which really something I should have waited till he gets in his bot mode. He is shipped in his Dino mode, so that's why we're starting in the Dino mode. And here's this gun, an extra gun. It can plug into the side right here. Not sure why it only came with one. Is there a port on both sides? Yeah, there's a port on both sides, right here and right here. It only came with one, even though Grassor came with two. And you get his sword. So I'm not really sure if there's any sort of weapon storage on this at all. I didn't see any. And then the gun. And I don't have the right size batteries. I could take apart. You have to literally split this in half and take the hilt apart and literally take this whole thing apart to put the batteries in. And I don't want to retake apart the other ones to take the batteries out to put them in. So I'll show you the feature when we get into bot mode. So speaking of getting this guy into bot mode, let's get it transformed up. So first thing that you really want to do is get these legs out of the way, and it's as simple as getting the legs out of the way. And then a couple things on this, you want this out of the way so you have clearance when you open up his legs. So it's kind of cool how you can pull this out and then you rotate it around. Let's see if I move that out of the way. Pull this out, and then you're gonna rotate it into a new position for the shoulders. So that's interesting how they did that. And then you push it back in. Don't rub that chrome. Get it in to spot there and push it in. Come on. And I guess that's just the vac metallized, giving it a little bit of, because it is kind of like metal being evaporated onto it. Same thing on the other side, and I just did that to make sure off camera that I was doing that right for you guys. All right, so anyway, now these are positioned slightly different. Now that they're out of the way, you're going to grab onto this upper area here to split, and split the head down here, and then we're going to work it all out and separate these legs. So do have some bits here to contend with. Bits. And there's one that's sort of worked out, and separating them both around the same time, it's probably a good idea. There we go. Work it past that arm. And this thing is tight. Now when you open up a leg, you want to push the head down to open this thing up, and then kind of get it out of the way. Makes it easier for the second one. So kind of push the head up, and this piece here. What you're also doing on the back here when the head comes up is you're kind of moving this piece down. So there's a lot going on. Can you see all that? There's a lot going on all at the same time. It's relatively intuitive though. See, that's the cool thing about this, is it makes it, there we go. Let's get a good angle on that. It makes it quite intuitive what's going on here. So before we go any further, we do need to rotate this waist piece around, and then that's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And then Well, no, it doesn't make sense. It looks like it's backwards. Then let's take this hip flap up a bit and then rotate this around. So same thing over here, hip flap up a bit and rotate this around. And then you got his legs. So we got to sort out how the legs go together. And I like getting the legs first most of the time because I like them standing up so we can finish this stuff. So when looking at the inside of one of these legs here, let's make it make sense. We're going to fold up this into here and then collapse that. And then we're folding this piece in on itself like so. We're going to fold out the toe. And then we got to get this other piece here. It's like a heel spur. I don't know. Is that the best way to describe what we're about to pull out here as a heel spur? And so see how to get this thing out real quick. Went off camera just a second to get the ball rolling on this piece, and it's going to go into here. I don't know, that scares me, something going into there, but really can't figure out a better way for it to go in there. I don't want to rub any vac metallized stuff off, but so we got that leg done more or less, and then we're going to do the other side the same way. So we're going to just kind of fold this piece in and then fold this head in also, and then this thing folds around on a double hinge into place. Then we're going to come around here to the bottom of the foot and I guess just pull on this to pop out the connector retainer tab piece, and then put the toe right in place and then tab all that in. And now we got the legs. So these are just big and beefy, ratchets everywhere. I guess till we're done, it's not really going to balance just right. So let's get the arms down, which we have repositioned already. And I think we need to put down on the arms, but we'll finish up the arms in just a second. So let's split the tail and let's turn that around because I don't want to, it's as simple as that. I don't want to scratch any chrome. I was a little sad on my grasser when I scratched the head. I guess I scratched his head. We're going to move this to the back, and incredibly simple. Pull this forward, lift the head up, close that, and then we have to sort out the arms the rest of the way. So, all right, we're going to lift up on this and up on that. And I still have styrofoam, so there's lots of styrofoam that's going to be messing around in there. Fold this foot in, and it automatically brings out the hand, which is cool. The way they did that, I like that. That kind of stuff for transformation is awesome. Did I pull the arm down? Yeah, it's all the way down. I don't think with the arm in the more up position that you could do all this with the hand. So they have to be pulled down in order for you to do all this. But should do the magic jobby shake, where you just shake it and the other side is done. That's a lot of fun, right? I should do that with this. That tabs into place. Move the hand around, and we're pretty much there. I'm going to readjust the camera and fiddle with him a bit, and then we'll be right back. Okay, so here he is in his robot mode, and I do feel a couple of things. First of all, I had to adjust the lighting because all of that vac metallized glare was kicking back hard on the camera. The other thing is that I feel like he's a little bit top heavy and a little bit back heavy. Just a little bit. So I can't quite get the stances I want unless they're extremely dynamic. Just an A stance, I feel like I gotta lean him forward at the knees just a little bit because he's just so big. Another thing is with the shoulders, while transforming, one of them popped out, like of the second notch, and I ended up putting it back into the first Dino notch. I actually think the shoulders look better like that. They look better up higher, but I'm going to show it the way it's supposed to be, but with the shoulders like this. But I think that he does look better with the shoulders a little bit higher. So there's options with this guy. If you don't like that, you can just put it back into the Dino mode slot, and there you go. So really, overall though, the minor complaint, and that's the only real complaint I have with this guy, is just kind of he's so heavy up top because of this tail. He's a little bit, you got to lean him forward just a little bit. And again, it might just be my table. I have a table. The table isn't the best, most solid one here, but I've reviewed a lot of stuff on it that stands just fine. So anyhow, here he is from the side, and he looks good. One of the things that the grass store gave us was the ability to hide the side legs. You can't do that on this, but they are chrome, and I guess the more chrome, the better. I do worry about scratching this up when I put this in my display, so that's always a concern that I have, and I am going to have to rebuild my display to put this guy into it, so that is an issue. Now let's look at the head on this guy, and the head looks pretty good. It's not a bad head at all. You come with this extra head, so you can see the difference. You got the red paint on the second head, and a bit of a kind of a sneer, like he's a snarl for Snarl. Okay, anyway. Here is translucent part of the chest in there, and then there is, as you can see, maybe with the camera I can pick that up, that there is an Autobot kind of shape to put a sticker on. So you can put your own sticker on it, and you do see some vac metallized chrome behind the clear plastic. Gigapower does a great job. Like just the little details they put into it, the paint, the chrome, the finish, the design, the size, everything, just outstanding. I love the coloring right here. Now the legs and then the waist area, aside from where it's painted, is bare plastic. But then it does a lot of bumping and rubbing, there. So there's if it was painted, it would be chipped for sure. And it looks good on the shelf. It looks fine. It's a little bit reflective, but it's not really a high gloss kind of plastic. There's enough gloss in this thing. And then the legs, they look fine. I just really thought in my mind that there was going to be a way to hide these, and there's not an option for hiding these. They're just there. So a little less Masterpiece-esque. I think that the Fans Toys one hides, I think, but I don't have the Fans Toys one, so I'm not 100% sure. But the inside, although there's a lot of stuff going on, it does kind of clean up and have some symmetry to it. And then you've got these, of course, and I think these might have some articulation to them too. I didn't really test that in the Dino mode. I don't want to test that. And then there's the foot. With articulation real quick, head, side to side. I thought that was a little up and down because it is kind of on a ball joint. I think you just pop it off, pop the other head on. And then with the shoulder, it goes out pretty far. But you are going to be rubbing that vac metallized chest. And then you can get 360. With the transformation, you can get this sort of out of the way. And there we go. And then another thing, if you're displaying, if you are in a tighter space, you could move those back for your display options. And then you do have the bicep rotation, single jointed elbow. And then for the hands, you do have 2 points of articulation on each finger and an opposable thumb. And they're very solid. The hands are extremely solid. And I don't have as much light working right now on purpose because I don't want to wash out the whole thing with all this vac metallized. You do have waist swivel, and we saw that in the transformation. Not an ab crunch, and I don't know if that would, a slight ab crunch would have counterbalanced some of this balance issue. Flipping up the flaps here, you do get pretty good range to the back and a pretty good range to the front on a clickety ratchet, and ratcheted to the side. So hardware is really good on this guy. Like, it really feels great on this dude. You do have the kind of a universal type of waist there, and then you have 90 at the knee, and carries that forward. And then down here, not much articulation in the foot, but like we showed, the little bit of toe movement, not much going on down there. What's going on down there? Not much going on down there. Yeah, there's our articulation. All that's going on with this guy, I want to show what he looks like from the back, and I think that he looks good from the back, good and clean. Very, very simple overall, and masterpiece. This is a true masterpiece. There's no, this really isn't a masterpiece figure. This thing is super masterpiece, but it's simple, yet effective. Looks really good. I love it. So here he is armored up with all of his accessories. Now let's see how he looks as a team. Alright, here they are as a team with his 4 closest friends. As you can see, I did put the lights on these. I have the batteries in those. So if you want to go look at when I did a review on those, that's the day I put the batteries in those. They still work, but if I leave them on for 5 minutes, then they get really dim. So the batteries are almost dead. So replacing the batteries in these, if you use it a lot, you're gonna go through the batteries a lot. But anyway, looking at this overall, a nice looking group, a nice looking team going on here, trying to get them all together. And this is, in case you didn't watch the Grasser video, this is not the Gigapower Grimlock. That's actually the KO Oversized Reximus Prime. That's how he looks with it. I still think it looks pretty good with it. I'm probably going to have to go in on the full set. Heck, I'm 4 of 5, so 80% there. And look how small a Fans Toys figure is in with these guys. So Fans Toys did their own thing. They did it first. They are smaller. Gigapower is going bigger. And I feel better. Here he is next to MP44 for scale. This is the Silver Leg KO version and still about the same size as the original, so that's what he looks like. That's how much bigger he is, and in my mind, that's how much bigger Dinobots are than Optimus Prime and the rest that are that scale. So this has been my look at the Gigapower Gigasaur's Guttur, the HQ-03R, and I think he's a great buy. I love the chrome, I love the paint, I love that he comes with some of the accessories. I would have thought he would have come with 2 of that gun right there. I do love the posability, the intuitive and simple transformation overall. And the only downside really to me is that you can't really hide those legs, but after handling it and messing with it, it's not that big of a deal. It still looks really good. And he is way more stable than I originally thought. All these Gigapower figures are super solid and super stable. This dude's balancing on a toe right now, but let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you like Gigapower better than Fans Toys? Do you think you can mix them and match them like I've kind of been trying to do over the past few years? And I do have a link down below where you can get this at ShowZ. Like and subscribe. Tyranium Hanger out.